All right, we're live. Welcome to our new studio. We're testing something out. It might work. I'm not sure if it will, but we're gonna do because Wills has to be somewhere in 40 minutes. We're gonna finish the other half in our regular places where we started.
Yo, why is this light poking out?
Well, that's the mic. It's to show that we're on. And yeah, so this is a podcast. First time we're doing it in person with the same mic.
Yeah.
And so right now, Willis, please open the door for our first guest. Yeah, we're live right now.
Oh, cool.
Close the door, please. Hi, welcome. Farland, how do you want to be known as?
Let's see.
Oh, step into the mic. The mic range isn't that.
Okay, step into the mic.
This is the Budget Podcast.
Budget Podcast.
It's BizzareTown, but we're running on the lowest budget a bunch of young adults can be on.
Oh, so it's like small.
Welcome, Farland.
Welcome.
First of all, who are you? Don't give too much. This is
Okay,
going live on the internet.
Oh, God.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
You make it sound like there's a gun to your head.
Personality.
Personality. I'm generally pretty loud. I like to keep it somewhat clean if this is going on the internet.
No, we've kept it clean. The worst we've talked about is marijuana sauna. That was last time.
Of course. What else? I like to keep it. Let's see. I occasionally have strong opinions, but I'm generally pretty reasonable. I like what's it called? I like comic books. Yeah.
Comic books. Yeah. All right. Understandable. What's your favorite comic book?
Favorite comic book? It's kind of a basic thing to say, but probably Watchmen. It's just so good.
Do you want that to be your logo on the podcast?
Like a Rorschach?
Do you want a Rorschach?
Talking about you talking about the guy or a Rorschach test?
No, like Rorschach from the
okay, yeah. You see the image right now.
Uh-huh.
Do you want Rorschach? Don't you like Willis's image?
It's the best thing I've ever freaking.
Yeah, no.
Let's go with.
It used to be a naked mole rat. That's our first podcast.
That's pretty good. Yeah, sure. Let's go with Rorschach.
It wasn't a mole rat. It was a hedgehog.
Okay. Well, that's the joke. It was
a hedgehog with a quill deficiency, so it just looked like a lump with eyes and a mouth.
Yeah. And the joke was that I thought it was a mole rat. So that's how our podcast is going. Hopefully the noise from the other room isn't picking up. And yeah, just if there's anything you'd like, do you want to be pop figure Rorschach?
Can I honest confession? Yeah. I'm not sure when I have to leave, so I might just get a little bzz, and I'll have to leave. But until then, I'm excited.
Yo, whatever happens to the juice whatever happens to the rest of the fruit and vegetables that you get from a juicer? You know how when you put in vegetables.
You mean the pulp?
Yeah,
whatever happens.
Yeah, no. In a juicer, they have a pulp section, so all the pulp comes out, and my mom usually just saves it for smoothies.
Wait, hold up! But all the juice is out.
No. But the flavor is still there.
Yeah, but that defeats the purpose of juicing then.
No, you juice it for the pure juice for that. But if you want to add some flavor to a smoothie or something, you just add a bit of the pulp because the pulp still has the flavor, but it doesn't have the juice. So it's like adding a herb to your soup.
All right,
and taking it out. Yeah, so just random Rorschach.
Let's see. Go back up to the better results.
This is an audio podcast. So
okay.
Just choose really quickly.
I don't know. Let's go with
Let me just look up Rorschach Tumblr.
Tumblr. There we go.
Because that will bring up the artist.
Because only the best ideas come from Tumblr.
That one's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's a GIF though.
Well, that still works.
Okay, that works. And if it's only in one image of the GIF, that's perfect.
All right, 1 second. All right, I gotta save the image.
All right. So what we're talking about?
Well, really, anything really. Do you want to talk about what we were talking about earlier?
Let's go.
All right. So what was that? Because I forgot.
You forgot what we were talking about?
Yeah, no, you two gotta hold the podcast up while I add
Okay, so
gotta hold the podcast up.
All right, so since it's kind of random in general, let's go. Society. We live in one.
We live in a society. Yes.
Actually, do we live in a society?
Do we? That is the question here. Do we live in a society? The answer is probably. I mean, America is quite the society. You'll be on. I'll put you here in the middle.
All right, awesome.
Actually, I don't.
You'll figure it out. But yeah, well, trying to think of like a point of reference where we can have this conversation. Society. Well, even then, is society inherently bad? Like, we live in a society. Like, is that a bad thing? No. Like, yeah. Is that a bad thing?
Oh, young adults.
Stop making fun of my voice. It's not good.
Okay. So, point of topic, because we're doing horrible right now. What do you want your online pseudonym to be?
Ooh, my online pseudonym. Oh, I have so many, and I love them all.
Yeah, we'll just choose one.
A pseudonym.
Yeah, because he can't be known as.
How political do we want this to get?
It doesn't matter. Like, we're on the bottom of the barrel. We're a podcast barely starting. 3rd episode.
All right, let's go with let's go with the Jewish Hulk.
Jewish
Hulk? The classic one.
Jewish Hulk.
Jewish Hulk.
That's actually, you know what? I don't want to DDoS you if this ever gets.
DDoS? No. What does that mean?
I'll explain it to you later.
It means it's like restriction of of like operations for a certain program or document.
Oh yeah, like when you'll say like, oh, you can't use this word. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
No, like for actual Twitch chat, your moderators can make it so you can't do that, but like...
Okay. You've been added to the podcast.
I'm typing it right there. It's perfect.
Well, it's because like I can move the thing, but that's just to show you.
Yo, the guy that plays Charlie on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, his actual name is Charlie.
Yeah, it's Charlie.
No.
Charlie Day.
Isn't
right?
all their names the same thing?
Is Danny? I haven't watched.
No, Mac. I'm pretty sure Mac is Mac, and then Charlie. Dennis is definitely Dennis. That's his first name.
Well, actually,
Sweet
that
D,
could be.
Sweet D is not her real name though. But I'm pretty sure like. I don't know. Like.
Well, there is a point where, especially with comedy and that kind of stuff, where the name doesn't have to be special unless it's like a joke name. The name is just.
Well, I mean, like. They chose Charlie because like it was a part of because originally the pilot it was just those two and it was just Charlie and Dennis and they did like a dumb pilot and then I guess the name's just stuck but also because like Charlie really fits that kind of character like
the name of sorts.
Yeah, if we didn't say all right look at him Charlie sniffing glue he's high he's playing the piano while on cocaine that's a Charlie like
Charlie seems like when I think of the name Charlie I think of a name that's like proper in like its origin like comes from a nicer family or just like has a nicer like exterior persona per se. But once you get to know them or just in general, they're a little like more exuberant, I would say, and typically in a good way. Like the Charlies I meet are typically pretty nice
because there are certain like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, like at the same time being both exuberant and far-fetched yet formal. It's that odd duality.
Huh? All right. Let's move on because I thought of a topic. You've been watching JoJo recently.
Oh yeah. Let's see. I'm on part 3. I'm on like the second part of part 3. So that's like they've made it to Egypt and they're just in Egypt now.
All right. Well, what are you enjoying about it? Because I'm the one who like really pushed you to watch it.
Okay, you're probably the one who really pushed me. You, Sam. I'd say. I shouldn't say people's name. Someone else.
Sam's fine. Like don't say his last name.
Oh yeah. That's true. Well, you've been. Okay,
I called. It's like.
Okay.
No one knows. No
one's gonna find this.
You come in here as Farland. Like that's all you.
No one's gonna find this, and even if they do, they're probably not gonna be mad. What was I gonna say? What do I like about the show? for background, I'm not an anime guy. I'm not all this stuff. I personally am not a big fan of it. But you guys pushed me to do that. You guys pushed me, and I was like, you know what?
Sound like you got out of rehab. Y'all pushed me to get to this new place.
No, you all really helped me. That intervention,
that drug addiction was you not being into JoJo. Now you are in rehab, and you are rehabilitated.
My entire life has just been addicted to not JoJo.
Your life has been before JoJo, the moment of conception, after JoJo. That's how your
just
life.
That's how time will be. It's like pre JoJo, post JoJo. Yeah, but I don't have much of a background in anime, so this is my first real glimpse at it, and I just really liked how just far out they can go. Yet it's still like I'm not even like Let me make this a clear example. When I'm watching JoJo, like I'm not sure whether to stare in awe or to burst out laughing, but it brings up both those emotions where I'm like, that's so cool, but also like that's bizarre,
so stupid
and stupid and funny. Like I get both those emotions, and I think there's that line between like they mean this seriously and they mean this funny, and they kind of blur that line, but it's both on the positive spectrum. If you blur that line on the negative spectrum,
so you're on the spectrum.
No. What I'm saying is that there's a point between seriousness and comedic, right? Some works are specifically comedic, some are specifically serious.
Oh, so it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that, except it emphasizes the positive aspects. For example, they'll have punches at 1,000,000 miles per second. Is that realistic? No. Is it cool and also outrageous and fun? Yes, that's what I like.
I mean, like the punches at 1,000,000 miles per second isn't really anything in terms of cartoons or even anime. Mm-hmm. It's just when like after Jonathan defeats Dio, and then you find him in his head being carried around by a zombie, and then he like attaches himself to Jonathan's body. 2 generations later, his grandson has a giant like loincloth ghost protecting him.
I love that.
Who can extend his finger.
That's my favorite thing, is that they never explain the entirety of the stand, because they just kind of give you the stats and like a general thing of what they can do, but it's really up to interpretation.
It's really like the creator went, all right, so this dude can turn anything into paper, but he must know their fear. He must know what they do when they're scared. And okay, wait, no. It's like the power was that he can turn anything into paper, but specifically for people, he has to know what they do when they're scared. And it's weird because like he puts, all right, spoilers for part 4.
Oh no.
Do you care?
I mean, I do care, but like, you know what? This is an example, so let's go.
This is the thing where you're gonna be hyped that it finally showed up. The dude, so like main fourth Joe Star is walking down the street, picks up a piece of paper, looks at it menacingly. Like
menacing. That's another favorite part of my show, is that there's onomatopoeias for everything.
Dude, it's just imagine that in English.
Menacing.
Menacing.
Because it has a feel. Because there's definitely moments in film and in television when the emotion is menacing, and they just have a way of showing that. It's so funny. Like, I just find it's so outrageous and so like, he's menacing.
The symbols are so cool.
And the way they move. That's another thing about JoJo. I'm sorry, I totally disrupt your example, but another thing about JoJo is the art style is so good. Like, I'll make an example.
They just get thinner.
Hierophant green or whatever.
Hierophant green. Yeah.
Hierophant green. Like, where did that come from? I look at that thing and I'm like, that came out of some guy's imagination. Like, almost no reference to any other thing I've ever seen in my life.
The robot stands are probably the best designed. If you look at my your
little thing,
that's part 8, Soft and Wet.
Soft and Wet.
Yeah, Prince song. That's like the updated version. It's pretty much just it's the stand to a pretty sailor boy, but
It's cool looking. Like, where does that come from? That metallic head, those little ear things.
I mean, that's something that's reflected in like a lot of anime. Like Dragon Ball Z does that a lot. Like a lot of their characters are like they like overuse metallic effects on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's like all right. I'm showing the full image is soft and white. You can just Google this.
Wait, that looks like whatchamacallit? Oh, right. Like that one Pokemon.
Ignore that.
Okay.
That's story.
Yeah.
Wait, who's that
plot?
Wait, who's that Pokemon that fights Rayquaza in that one Pokemon movie?
Deoxys?
Yeah, that looks like Deoxys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Soft and what does look like Deoxys. I have no idea how to spell Deoxys.
There's an X somewhere.
I'm just gonna look up Deox Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, no, it does look like it's just that metallic head and that slit in the middle.
Slit. They probably looked at it. They're like,
Yeah, no.
I bet no one would notice this.
Yeah, like there's some stands that have the coolest designs, but like that's not even the coolest part about them.
Yeah, it's like they have some weird palette.
And then there's some that just look stupid.
Like who? Like you mean the one that's a giant sun?
Well, that's not.
There's
stupid.
A lot.
That's just like. Okay, well that's just practical. Like
it's not there's some stands that are just really ineffective. Like there was one.
You mean like the one that can stop time for like a tiny amount of time?
Or how about Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is just a golden duck thing.
That's confusing looking.
Let me see.
Look at that thing. Please Google Red Hot Chili Peppers stands to join in on this.
Bro, that looks like Donald Duck if he took after he hit meth one too many times.
Well, like Donald Duck if he were to be JoJo 5.
No. You wanna know what that looks like? That looks like Donald Duck mixed with that one dinosaur with like the huge head.
It does.
Oh my god.
Like not the hammerhead. What are those things called again? The ones that have like the hard head and like hit their head on things.
Oh, there's a Pokemon based off that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, isn't there a Pokemon like that? I might remember the Pokemon name better than the actual animal's name.
Welcome to the JoJo cast. Oh man,
it looks like someone like mixed those two things together. They're like, you want to know what this is missing? Oh, a golden tent.
Or like the first Iron Man suits of armor were completely gold, and I get that vibe from it. It's just like, let's just make it shiny.
Oh my god, man! Oh wow, we're dropping frames.
Wait, frames?
No, it doesn't matter. No, it's because we added the GIF.
Oh.
So like.
Or should we stop the GIF?
No, your GIF will be like
laggy.
Low frame.
Oh my gosh,
that's all.
My GIF is low. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Hopefully the audio isn't affected by this. It shouldn't affect the recording, but it might affect the streaming. As we said, this is like the most amateur podcast ever. We
hopefully
have a blue Yeti that we stole. We're all staring at it. No, don't do that. I don't know what that. I don't know. Okay, listen. We're all at a distance. I know what the audio sounds like. If we get any closer, I cannot guarantee that it will come out well. We have this little bar here that shows us we're in the green. We do not ever want to be in the red.
It's like, but isn't that kind of funny though? When like you hear like the kind of like blasting your ears like at top mic. Like sometimes that's not well used, but like, occasionally like it's very well placed. It's typically in memes and stuff when they just blare it in your ears.
Oh yeah, talking about ear rape.
Yeah, exactly.
I had it all together,
and then it's just
but I was led astray. Day you are away.
Like it's so funny because it conveys that emotion very well.
Oh, we might have a viewer, but I'm not sure. That might just be me. But hey,
that might just be you.
Yeah.
Hi, viewer. Would you like to call in?
No, we're not putting our phone number out on the internet. No. If the live Twitch stream, it's mostly just so like when we eventually do it professionally or something, like we already have that set up.
Yeah, I guess so.
This is mostly just for the recorded aspect.
This is good stuff.
This is great stuff.
Just
imagine sometimes it's just me and Willis. Imagine what that's like. And you can by watching our other podcast at BizzareTownpodcast.com/YouTube. That's not the actual link. I suck at telling links. Just look up BizzareTown Podcast on YouTube. If you're watching the stream right now, what am I doing? This is recorded too. Who am I talking to? We don't have an audience. We're talking to no one. Oh my God, Willis, why? Why would you show us a GIF of how to basic? How to basic?
This is how to basic.
Shoving his hand into a chicken. Thank you for saving me from the existential crisis by showing how to basic fisting a chicken. Oh my God.
Well, and this is so out of context.
I can only imagine what it's like if like his wife walks in and that's just happening.
I'm pretty sure his wife is always watching.
His wife is always
watching.
His wife's the one filming it the entire time.
That's the thing you do in your house that both your wife and your 2 kids have to be watching at the same time. Because you do not do that in a house with someone being disgusted at that.
Do we know anything about the How To Basic guy?
He put a 10 million subscriber face reveal and it just showed every major YouTuber.
Yeah, Uncle Dane was on that.
Uncle Dane. Oh, I'm offline.
Talk into him, Mike.
It doesn't matter, man. What are we doing? Stop looking at memes. This is an audio podcast. Willis, you're ruining the audio nature of this medium.
Air suck.
Air suck.
It says respiration, breathing, then just air suck.
I guess. All right, respiration, breathing, air suck. That's the title. Oh, I forgot to edit the episode.
Episode 1.11.
Oh my God, I forgot to edit this. This is 2.23. This should now be known as air suck.
Oh shit, dude, check this out. This guy's shooting a minigun.
Oh my God. We gotta stop looking at GIFs in our audio.
Okay, let's bring up another topic. All right, what are we talking about?
Audio listeners, let's talk about music. Willis, you're obviously into rap because you've told me so many times, and I'm into jazz because I've told you so many times. Marlon, what are you into?
Well, just go listen to like Kendrick Lamar or something.
What was I gonna say?
Marlon, what are you into? What gets you hard in music? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that.
Stares at you menacingly.
Oh God. We're not ready. We're not ready for those jokes. What do you listen to, Farland?
I don't know. Well, that's kind of I do know, but it's kind of a broad range of music. I like a lot of classic rock, but also like a classical and like movie score. Like I like a lot of that stuff.
So like movie scores. Oh, so you like the violins, the trombones, the trumpets?
Yeah. Like I was listening to some Gustav Holst yesterday. I really like his stuff, especially the planets.
Gustav Holst sounds like one of the books we're reading in English called Lolita.
Walita.
Gustav.
No, it's not Walita. It's Lolita.
Oh, Lolita, famous book that everyone knows with 2 L's. We can't say lolly in this podcast. So
Okay. Back to
Gustav
Holst.
I mean, that is partially like, oh my God, that's why it's called Lolita. Oh shit.
Well, did it just
language?
No, because think about it. Because the whole.
But Lolita's Spanish, Willis.
No, well. It's written by a Russian dude, but my point is
Can we not talk about this?
Why?
This is the stuff I don't want to talk about. You can look up this stuff on your own, kiddies.
Okay, no, I was just checking the audio.
This is why you gotta have a soundboard.
Meta.
I should probably bring the audio down, but doesn't matter. We're already too far into this.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Gustav Holst. He was like the inspiration for almost every movie score nowadays. Not so good.
All right, why don't we listen to some Gustav Holst? Hopefully,
it's in the public domain.
Like 3 seconds actually. Gustav Holst.
Well, they can't slam us if it's in public domain.
Is it in public domain?
Just because something's been around for a while, it's sort of sketch for public domain.
Either way, we're just gonna be listening to 3 seconds. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, look at this stuff on your own. Ready?
Wait, hold up. It's got to load. Willis, stop looking at memes.
Alright, I gotta...
Willis, why don't you bring up a topic?
All right, I'll do that on the second half because your boy has to go to work.
Oh, you got work today?
Yeah, I have it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Oh, you should have told me, man.
I literally told you this at lunch.
Well, how much time do we have in this? 26 minutes. You know what? We'll call this a short podcast. Well, won't do it later. I don't feel comfortable.
How long have you been doing this?
This podcast? We started midsummer. And
No, I mean like this particular one.
This recording, 26 minutes. The stream's probably shit right now.
Whoa, language.
Oh, no, we're allowed to say shit, Farland. We just can't say, like, the hard R both ways.
What?
Raccoons.
You son of a... Alright, you know what? The internet in here sucks. The stream probably really sucks. But at least the recording is fine. Willis, stop looking at me.
Alright, I gotta go.
You gotta go? Alright. Well, Farland is now officially replacing Willis.
Get rid of his little thing on the...
No, we're getting rid of him.
You're not reporting me. Well, you're not getting rid of me. I'm coming back.
Yeah, you're coming back. You're just not on this podcast anymore.
Uh-huh. What do you say?
We're kicking you out. Get out of here.
There we go. Now let's make mine huge.
Well, here we go. Here comes the reign of Jewish Hulk as the replacement for Willis.
You're not replacing me?
He's replacing you for this podcast.
For this, you mean the stand-in?
Yeah, he's standing in, but he's still replacing you technically.
I'm standing in.
Close the door, Willis. Bye.
Because it's the work of the enemy stand.
And now it's just 2.
Alright, and then there were 2. I gotta leave in like 15 minutes.
Oh no, as long as you leave in 15 minutes, we should be fine. I just want to have this audio go above 40, so like 13 minutes. Should be fine. I don't know. Alright, so now what do you want to talk about?
Alright, so in life.
In life.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need like some kind of thing to do stuff like this. Like we need a focus in these types of podcasts.
Oh, like we started off as a video game podcast, but then Willis brought up what was it? He brought up the marijuana sign, and that sort of shut us off. We talked about whole bunch of things like Jake Paul, Starbucks coffee, cookies, last one. Really, the sky's the limit with this podcast, as long as it's entertaining in some manner.
As long as it's entertaining. Video games. Well, you started as a gaming podcast. What about that new Cyberpunk game?
Oh, right. 45 minutes of gameplay. Have you seen it, Farley?
No, because 45 minutes? What happened to, like, trailers and stuff? I guess 45 minutes, like, you get an actual feel for the game. But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I just don't have the time for this kind of stuff. Because, you know, I'm not a super hardcore gamer.
Did you at least see like 5 minutes or something? You watching?
I know it's first person. I've seen some like interviews with people and stuff.
This is like very early like stuff.
But even then, I'm excited because
there was a scene where it's just solid gameplay and streets are packed with NPCs.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's just something you don't see in most video games where like even GTA or like big AAA studios. It's just 3 guys on the street.
Well, to be fair, GTA was replicating LA, and there are like 3 people on the streets of LA. If you look at the GTA streets, like those are pretty accurate to LA.
Yeah,
Nobody walks in LA.
Yeah, I guess. But like, even like in the more packed areas, like GTA's representation of the San Diego Pier.
Santa Monica Pier?
Santa Monica Pier. I suck at names.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, it's just like there should have been more NPCs, but like stack it up in there, get the RAM in that area. But like that's the idea. It's to show you that they're putting details down. They're pushing for something.
And you can go into like buildings and stuff.
You can get into cars. You can drive around in that game. It's cyberpunk. Looks nice, obviously. You saw this.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I like the most is that the aesthetic of cyberpunk I really like. The whole like Blade Runner, Shadowrun is another thing. Cyberpunk was a role-playing game, I believe, but like that cyberpunk aesthetic is really cool.
Something that keeps coming up because I listen to a lot of podcasts and like other internet personality opinions.
Yep.
A lot of people played Shadowrun in their childhood.
Shadowrun in their childhood. Wow, that's something.
Yeah, that's something.
Because Shadowrun is not. I've had limited experience to Shadowrun, but like it's hard. Like that was my first role playing experience, and I was like, "There's no way I'd be able to do this on my own. I need like all these guys who know how stats work to get this character running." Even though I loved the universe, like it was just like playing as my own character, all the freedom I could do with that.
Well, that's what draws people to D&D, but it's obviously like when you dedicate that much time to learning Shadowrun, you appreciate the setting even more because like you're immersed in like the strategy and all that. And it's also just Cyberpunk doesn't get much representation outside of like Blade Runner and stuff. And superheroes are so prevalent nowadays. Like cowboys are dead, pirates have been done to death. The one thing that's still fresh is samurai and cyberpunk settings.
Well, I mean, again with samurai, in the Western audiences, samurai haven't been overdone. Yeah. But also cyberpunk, I think, I would disagree with you that the idea of cowboys being dead, because with cyberpunk, that they kind of are cowboys.
Well, I mean, it's the thing is the Western cyberpunk cowboys.
Yeah, it's its own like feel. Like there's not many cyberpunk movies and stuff. While there are hundreds of westerns, there are hundreds of pirate movies. Are there? I'm just thinking Pirates of the Caribbean.
There's a lot of pirate movies.
But
like,
pirates are.
You'd be surprised how many pirate movies were made in like the 1960s, 1970s. Yeah, like back.
And then even then, you go back to Victorian. What's the Pirates of Penzance?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm messing up that name, but it's like the Victorian.
We gotta get Carlos in here for that stuff. Get a movie podcast.
That's not a movie though. That's a play. It's a musical. I am the very model of a modern age of gentleman.
I thought you were still on movies.
Oh no, but I was on movies. Then I went to even back. Pirates go that far back.
Oh yeah.
Well, cowboys are much more film prevalent. You don't see many
because I guess pirates showed up in plays because pirates exist for so long. Like
they existed a lot longer.
Yeah.
Even then, our perception of pirates is way off. But even then, it's really about the aesthetic around pirates that makes the pirate aesthetic overdone. Like you could do modern day pirates, like realistic pirates, but it would be an entirely different thing than the aesthetic of pirates, because the aesthetic of pirates and real pirates are totally different, but they both exist. And so I think the aesthetic of pirates has definitely been taken its course and done all this stuff, and you can revitalize it, but that's another thing.
It's all about like taking what a pirate is and just applying it to a new setting.
Well, not. Oh yeah, that would be if you're taking the aesthetic, but the aesthetic and the real pirates are a lot different.
Yeah, no, you take what a real pirate is and you just put it in a different setting.
Not really, because a lot of the times the pirates have British accents, which comes from like movies done over the years. The real pirates weren't. They were probably around northern Africa, and they really just wanted to make a buck. Yeah, and they would either do that by stealing, which you see in the aesthetic and all this stuff, or they do it by trading. Like you'd see sometimes.
You ever see the Salmonella? How it was like to be a pirate?
You mean Somalia?
Sam O'Nella vlogs what it was like to be a pirate.
Oh, Sam O'Nella. Oh yeah, I know Sam O'Nella.
Did you see that one?
I haven't seen that one.
All right, I don't know if we can. I'll probably show it to you later, but
yeah, but I like Sam O'Nella. But like, pirates were a lot different.
No, it's just like okay, we board your ship. All right, you resist. We open you up, string your entrails around the front of the deck of the ship, and let you scream to death to show that we don't care. And well, I mean, it's also because the reasons why pirates were so romanticized was because like it sucked, like like they would lay on the ship, people would be pissing on the floor and all that because like it doesn't matter, they eat like a bunch of hard carbs like just hard bread for the trip. And wow, we got the pirates from Cyberpunk.
Well, pirates are it's an aesthetic, and how we're talking about how it got romanticized, and it got romanticized through both like film and like and plays and media, but it certainly wasn't how it historically was. If you go, even we were talking about cowboys earlier, like we always think like the Clint Eastwood or like the John Wayne, like the good noble man who's wearing the white cap and he's going out down on the range. Like, no, that wasn't anything, not like it at all. Most people went out to the West because they were contracted or in some company to go farm materials, get wood, lumber, go mine or something. That's why they moved out West. There wasn't any reason like, oh, I want to go see the West. There were probably some people, but it was mostly economic reasons why to go to the West. And also cowboys themselves. There were some that existed, but most of the time they weren't like that. And even if they were kind of ranching out cowboys, sheriffs, and all that stuff, the West was pretty diverse. Like it wasn't all white boys. It was.
I mean, like obvious.
Yeah.
The only reason why it's all white boys in Hollywood is because
Hollywood, yeah,
1960s Hollywood. Like, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that why? That's the whole reason the Blazing Saddles was created. Because
Blazing Saddles is an entirely different thing. It's making fun of
just racism in general.
It's making fun of racism, and it's also kind of poking fun at Hollywood. Yeah. And they're just white people in general. The reason why Blazing Saddles has that kind of language is because it's all just satiring white people, and that's good satire right there. There's a lot of bad satire right there, but that was good satire because it was just railing it to white people because they're just how just ignorant they were and all this stuff.
Probably shouldn't have brought this up on the podcast, but still it was a good idea.
We're talking about it academically.
Yeah, we're not in it. We're like going at it from a model perspective. It was a good movie. I watched it. I liked it. The jokes landed. I didn't feel uncomfortable when they used the language because I knew
you could tell it was making fun of.
It was always a joke. It was being lampooned towards Hollywood, and man, there were some really good jokes in that movie.
Well, that's because I would also say Mel Brooks as a comedian is great, and even I'm forgetting the actor who played the main character in that. He was part of the writing team. Like that wasn't Mel Brooks writing this. There was he was hesitant about using some of this stuff, and the main character, I'm forgetting his name. I need to look it up.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this moment to advertise the email address. If you guys have any questions you'd like to be answered on the podcast, if you were to ever listen to this, just go to BizzareTownpodcast@gmail.com. That is BizzareTownpodcast@gmail.com. We will answer your questions whenever we get questions.
Let's see, Blazing Saddles. Yeah, I'm forgetting. I'm pretty sure he was part of the writing cast, right? Was
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
I went to see an interview with him. He was like, yeah, that was Cleavon Little. Am I saying
Cleavon Little, yeah.
Yeah, Cleavon Little. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to write us...
Click on his portrait.
Or was someone. But he wasn't... was he? No?
No. That doesn't look like it. Unless IMDb is wrong.
Oh, no. It wasn't him. It was Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, it was Richard Pryor. Sorry, I'm getting...
all right.
Talk about ignorant white people.
You're not that white.
I'm white.
I mean, you're Jewish.
Yeah, but there was a lot of comedic talent in that movie.
No, okay. Let's change topics.
Okay. I was gonna shift into old time comedians and how they would often, and how their
jokes.
Well, not their jokes, but how they the industry was a lot different. Like I remember one of the facts from I think it was Young Frankenstein, which is another Mel Brooks film, is that Mel Brooks was always giving Gene Wilder advice, and he'd be like, "Why?" And Mel Brooks said in response, Well, so when you're directing, you know what to do. I'm giving you tips. Because when in that business, since it was all just nepotism, it still is all just like who likes who, or like what guys like, oh, I think that guy's pretty good. It's not based on previous works or anything. It was a lot based on just who was there. Like, so he would have that experience. Just like, hey, I know Mel Brooks. I heard you're a friend of Mel Brooks. You know what? We'll give you a shot at directing this comedy film. And if it lands, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. It still is, what's it called?
Yeah, that's still sort of the thing. Well, I mean, it's a bit more professional now where, like, people are still learning based off, like, the techniques of the director and stuff. We're not in the business, so we don't know exactly at what goes down. But I'm sure because people communicate as they're filming, like, the movies and stuff, that people are still, like, taking in processes for how to film whenever they get their chance, if they ever do. I mean, that's the same, like, for an example, like, the animation industry. Like, there's always this, like, image online of how most of the American cartoons that came out in the last few years all stem from, like, Flapjack, and that's because the creator of Flapjack had a bunch of writers and, like, creative personalities.
And they branched out and
they branched out in there. But that's because, like, in interviews I've seen, the creator gave the writing staff, like, 100% freedom to just do what they wanted to do for that episode they were writing. So there's always telltale signs of which episode was written by whom, because
they were allowed to write them.
The stories were written in a certain way. The characters reacted in certain ways.
It wasn't kind of, oh, we need to break this to... We need to set the characters in a certain way or fashion because of the studio or because of that. No, there was...
For the storyline or
for
whatever.
The greater storyline.
Yeah, it was Flapjack. Can you remember what the storyline of Flapjack was?
I saw like 1 or 2 episodes as a kid and just being really confused. And I went back to SpongeBob thinking, hey, this makes sense. It didn't make sense.
No, it's Flapjack was the same thing as SpongeBob, where it's just all the characters start off at one place. It doesn't matter where they end up at the end of the episode. It'll just reset. So you can do whatever you want. There was... there's a famous... actually, do you know what? I don't have any good clips on the top of my head, but just the episodes were random stuff.
Yeah, I'll give it all derives from Del Arte Theater, which was when theater was banned in Italy because Catholicism or something like that, or just the medieval times in general. So there were still people who did theater, but they went around in these kind of carts, and they'd just go around little families and towns, and they'd go to a town for however long. They'd pick up names, they'd pick up gossip or whatever, right? And they just have a set cast of characters who they just rename after whoever was who in the town, and they just make their little stories. And from that, those archetypes that they had for every character that they would just reuse and repeat for every show they did, and they'd have just a set plot line where they just repeat it for different towns, or they have like 3 or 4 different plot lines for different towns. That is the basis for most sitcoms and also cartoons nowadays. Like, you can see the influence from different you can see the influence in Modern Family from Del Arte. You can see the influence in SpongeBob from Del Arte of the archetypal characters.
Yeah. Well, I'm not knowledgeable in that subject, but that's interesting to see that sort of everything has an origin point. And of course, it's like we're taught this stuff in school, that like there's certain concepts that are tied to certain things, and really everything does stem from that Greek and like Italian.
Yeah, but that's medieval Italian, which you can even trace back. I did a project on Rome and theater, and they even had archetypal characters. Like, you can go all the way back and trace their own little things. And it's all about finding which ones to kind of block out or or trace that small origin from. Like, you were talking about Flapjack in modern cartoons. Like, you can go all the way back to Del Arte, but in that little bubble, that's what you're analyzing right now.
That's what you want to find, so you find it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're in the last bit of stretch, so why don't we make this a video game podcast? Farland, you play a lot of TF2.
Yes, love that game.
How would you feel the community is being in this sort of drought after that last update?
The entire podcast, what is this, 46 something minutes?
Yeah.
Right? We could talk an entire podcast about the TF2 community because it is a long, it is decently sized. There's some people who have been in the game since its inception 10 years ago.
2007. That's
since
when it
2007. Yet you could also find people who, instead of playing Fortnite, they just say, hey, I want to play TF2. Like 12-year-olds nowadays who like TF2. And it's a big community.
It's crazy how long it's lasted.
Yeah, and within the community, there's a lot of great stuff, but there's also some stuff that's unsavory. I mean, you could say that with every community, but we can have an entire video just dedicated to that. Yeah. But I would say the TF2 community, as long as we just hang in there, I guess, and just keep playing, have fun, just respect other people on the internet. And I would also say there's some content creators who are like, they kind of get the gist.
At this point, the content creators, because there was a point, I think 2 or 3 years ago, where TF2 content was very high. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was when a lot of the stuff was happening. I'd say from 2012 to 2015, that's when a lot of content was surfing out. Nowadays, the content is sort of just like a slow and good. Uh-huh.
Well, even then, that's the content that Valve's putting out. If we're talking about community content, there's still a lot of stuff. There was a recent Canteen Crashers. It was an entire MVM campaign made from the pieces that they had, and they implemented new weapons for the characters. They made in the the Sentry Busters. They gave them a charge, like a demo man charge, and I was like, that's an interesting mechanic. They had so much of this stuff.
Switch it up.
And I mean, this is the most sound like a broken record, most overused statement in the community. Valve is just not touching this stuff because Valve lets their employees do whatever they want, which is a good thing, I guess. But it's also we like this game, and you can make a little more money from it, and you can actually bring it back to life, but it's all within their little community. So it's what you'd give and sacrifice and stuff.
In reality, this game has been alive for 11 years, and can you think of any other games besides Warcraft or anything? Because Warcraft is making beyond what TF2 made, I'm pretty sure. Still
in money, well, because that's a different game. It's
that caters to a more addictive crowd.
It's a more addictive crowd, definitely. But I would also say that they both hit on this interesting demographic, which is the early gamers, which is maybe from 2000 to maybe 2008 or even as 2010, when video games were still kind of the kind of nerdy thing. They weren't mainstream. Fortnite represents video games being mainstream. That's one of the things I think why a lot of people don't like Fortnite, which they really shouldn't. It's just a game, but they don't like Fortnite because it represents video games becoming completely mainstream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Fortnite. Personally, I'm not. I played a bit of it. I'm not against the game itself. It's sort of this community of YouTubers and bloggers that have created just sort of what Minecraft was, where all the Minecraft YouTubers just showed up, and there were so many of them, and they all catered towards the kids and all that.
Yeah.
And it's sort of I saw the rise and I guess fall. I mean, Minecraft's still popular, but the community, the YouTubers aren't as prevalent.
Yeah, because of Fortnite.
Yeah, but it's I saw the fall. I just don't want to experience that where it's there's a more cringy little kids doing the Minecraft dance or whatever, doing the Fortnite dances. It sucks. Cause I like that scrub dance, and now I can't like it anymore because no, it's the default dance. Oh,
that's got all the memes about that.
Yeah, no.
And even I think yeah, there's some funny stuff there with the scrub dance. But the reason we see it as cringy because we see video games as out of place. As in, like, the first video game people were like, this is what nerds play. Yeah, we're nerdy dudes, but we play video games and we're at this own little... It's a nerdier thing. Well, now it's like little kids are playing this game. Like this shooting game, and they're little kids, like basketball players. Like, I think it was somebody at the draft had, like, inside of his jacket, Fortnite in, like, big letters. Like, what? It's a big shock, and it's coming off as hostile when it really shouldn't be. What they should be, what people should be excited about is that video games now have the power and, like, the social presence to actually be considered like an art form or something. Because if you think of any art form, let's say when like film, actually that's a good one. When film first came out, it wasn't considered much of an art, just this like new thing that's like, oh my goodness,
it was experimental.
It was like, totally experimental. And now we're shifting into where video games are coming to the point where they can be considered art. So back to Cyberpunk, that is people putting time and effort into this big piece of art.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, but like back onto the Fortnite train.
Fat Fortnite.
The Samsung Galaxy Fortnite phone.
That's crazy.
Like that. When I first saw that commercial, I was like, really?
Yeah, I heard them like you could get V-Bucks.
When was the last time you had a product tie in with like a very like this is a Samsung phone. It's not like an Apple phone, but it's still like up there with the type of phone.
But it's a phone, which is an entirely new thing, only used for like communication. Now it's a gaming phone.
And this is targeted towards kids too, because like, dude, like an adult already has a phone. Like an adult's probably got it on PS4. He doesn't need the Samsung Galaxy S phone.
But the people who play Fortnite on their phones are like
the little kids,
are younger kids who want a phone and they got a phone for some reason. Beats me, or that aren't mainstream gamers, because traditionally throughout video gaming so far, you've either been on a console and PC, and there's tons of arguments about that, which I think has eventually gone into parity because we all kind of, well, not all, we all.
There's no longer like a console war or any of that. It's just that's no one cares. No one cares. Enjoy what you want now. Like no one's entitled to their PS4 exclusiveness. No one cares. But like in reality, like, it's weird how Fortnite has just taken over. And it stayed. It stayed. It's been, like, 7 months of it in, like, popularity. And I feel like it hasn't even peaked. And I guess that's on part of, like, the creators, Epic Games, for, like, fueling the community and, like, keeping them enticed.
If you could make a Fortnite phone.
They got Thanos in there.
That was
Thanos
nuts.
During Infinity War, during the week of it coming out.
They got Thanos in the game. That really shows you how much, because a lot of media, it's like, if you're going to cross over, there's a lot of boundaries. You need, like, the big Disney. Like, how did they get that from Disney?
Yeah, like, okay, listen. Getting Thanos into the game, like, that itself, that's not, like, the biggest deal. What makes it a big deal was it was the week of Infinity War that week, that 2 weeks of it coming out, that they put it in there when everyone knew who Thanos was.
Yeah, that is actually ingenious marketing. Yeah,
no,
because especially when it's not like one of those skin promotions because of this game or something. Because video games have done that for a while. It is taking something that they almost knew was going to be memed up, raved about, and we're going to say you could play him in the game. Like, that is smart marketing.
Yeah, no, it's like the Fortnite rocket was going steady. It was on its course. Then they just, all right, let's throw the Thanos into the fuel box. Boom! Just rocketed. Like,
and that's when I remember when I started thinking less of Fortnite as just like a cringy kind of popular game that's gonna die out soon, to like, what? I love like Thanos doing the Fortnite thing. It's so bad, but it's so funny because I love Thanos from the comics. I'm a huge fan of the Infinity War comics. Like I read Infinity Gauntlet. I read the Infinity War, which is like this thick comic book. It's huge. It's of just a bunch of issues and stuff. And I love. He was my favorite. He still is my favorite villain from since I was like 6th, 7th grade, right?
Yeah.
And so when I see him doing the Fortnite dances, I'm like, there's my guy. There's my villain. There's my favorite villain right there. Take that, Joker.
Oh, man.
I don't know. It just... but at the same time, that hipster side of me is like, now he's too cool.
Oh, he's too cool. Well, I mean, they gave him a good representation in the movie. Like, he's like one of the few villains from a Marvel movie that's like, you can remember, his motivation. And it's just you hate him because of that. Yeah, hopefully that picks up. That's ASMR. We're ASMRing.
ASMR.
All right, let's.
One does not consider.
Right. This is the end of the podcast.
Awesome.
Let's finish this up with a nice ASMR. Nice.
One. Wait, hold up. Wait, I got it.
All right. Yeah.
One does not consider BizzareTown podcast when balancing the universe.
But it does put a smile on my face.
All right. Thank you so much, Farland, for joining. Right. This has been the BizzareTown podcast.
I probably should have left, but
Yeah, you know what? This was fun. Tip your waitresses. Please give us money next time.
Tip your waitresses?
I don't know. These people can be listening in a Starbucks. It does not matter. Thank you so much for stopping by. We love you. We love you so much.
I love me.